On the other hand, it's like, wow, it doesn't exactly feel like yesterday, but it flew by, just the pace of innovation, development. And I still am amazed at how many folks, engineers and even companies that are building platforms, building services, don't really understand how the CDNs work, what the networks really do. And you experience this, right? When there's a big event, something like Netflix, live streaming fight,
Yeah,
and there's a failure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's comical to me to read on LinkedIn, some of the comments that are just so uninformed. And I think we're way past 20 years into this. How can people still not understand? And so, okay, that's fine. I'm not suggesting those companies or those specific engineers don't know anything about video, don't know anything about streaming, but they don't understand how the roads work, the pipes,
Yeah.
how the content flows. So one of the things that I know, you've given me a little bit of data about i3d.net, and I'm, this is on your website, and you presumably talk public about it. Is the number of direct peering relationships that you have. Talk real quick about why that's important. And I also find something interesting. You did reference POPs, points of presence, but yet, you didn't use that as your primary anchoring. We have 147 POPs around the world, or we have, whatever the number is, big or whereas you go to everyone else's website, and that's kind of the very first thing that you see generally, as if that number's bigger, it's better. If it's smaller, it's not so good. Explain why peering relationships are such a big deal, and why 9,000 makes you, is it the second most interconnected network in the world? So yeah, explain that for us.
So POPs in general, more is not always better. It really depends, how do you have all these points of presence connected, and do you actually have the connections, peering connections, for example, with all of the ISPs in that specific region to cover your large population areas directly. So the second aspect to it is